Hello, Ectosage here on Sage Channel, and this week's Space Engineers update has brought forth more scenario updates. And now I know lots and lots of people aren't too keen on scenarios. But, the devs want to go ahead and add scenarios and story of their own, and as much as I don't really find that interesting, I love that they're actually giving us the ability to make scenarios. So that's something that has actually helped Minecraft be pretty powerful, in the fact that, well, look at the Yogscast. How many custom maps have they done over the years? Imagine the Yogscast being given maps that are made with all the scenario editing features that this game is slowly developing. So anyway, let's just go ahead and hop into some of the stuff, and we're actually going to go to a new world, custom world. Let's just select our lone survival, disable autosave, turn on our scenario edit mode as per usual, and click on the advanced tab because they've added something new in here today. That's the start in respawn screen, so you can toggle this on. That way, in the past, if you've loaded up a scenario in an offline mode for like a single player scenario that you might have set up, basically loaded in exactly where you left your character in the past. With this toggle on, now you can go ahead and make sure the person will actually be at a spawn screen, so they'll be able to select their spawn location. They've also added this because they've basically set it up so you can have auto-joining factions now. So you can they're working towards allowing more of multiplayer team versus team stuff and not so much free for all. So with that, let's go ahead and hop into the world now. Let's also go ahead and just set it to turn some of these up and get ourselves in creative just in case we find ourselves in need of some of this stuff. And let's load into our world right away. And let's also, of course, name it because it's rude not to name a world. There we go. And let's hop in there. Alrighty, and now that we're in world, of course, we press U. It should also be pointed out that if you press U actually while playing through a scenario, and it shows up the scenario description, you'll actually be able to scroll down and you'll actually have progress through that. Anyway, let's go ahead and look at the very top here. They have video on start. That's because that's a new feature they've added. Let's go ahead and alt-tab ourselves to YouTube so we can grab a video and copy that link and paste it in here. Basically, any YouTube link you place in there, upon the start of a scenario, will play for everyone that is playing the scenario. So the second it starts up, it'll go ahead and open your Steam overlay, and the video will be playing in there. Also, you can go ahead and set this up for your win condition and loss condition. So you can go ahead and have, where is it here? Oh, right, we have to actually select a, well, let's just do all others lost. And then do this, and you can see that, of course, you can have your message. You can, of course, have your video link. So once again, we can paste a video in there. And the way you set up a link to a next mission is pretty simple. You just do your Shift tab, open your Steam overlay, and if you found one, here it is. You can also, of course, find them by simply going to your Steam library, doing your Browse Workshop. And there's a little pull down right here. You can set the scenarios, so it'll show you all the different scenarios. The way you set it up to go to a specific one of them, if you look at the URL right up here at the top, you grab the last numbers here, the ID of the scenario, and then you enter it in right there. And so then once somebody wins, it'll automatically load up that new map, which is pretty cool for having a proper story-driven map where you have a big advanced map, you play through it, you get to the end, it'll load up the next one. You could even string together a bunch of mazes or different other things, let your mind go wild to that. Please note, though, unfortunately, this is only set up currently for single player only. Also, I have to point out that if we go ahead and press escape, it still clears everything here, which is always terrible. Also, we can go ahead and show that leave game area, all these things, you can now set up a next mission results and all sorts of different things to happen, even if you lose. So it's all pretty cool stuff there. And I believe we can even set this up to, let's see, limited lives. So once you run out of lives, you can even have videos open with that and all sorts of different stuff happen. So these two new options are basically in everything. Pretty cool stuff. Even though, keep in mind that if it loads up a new level, it's going to boot everyone else. It's not built for multiplayer yet. Also, I'm just going to point out that it would be really nice, instead of a win condition and a loss condition, if it just had a neutral condition, and instead of having, well, I guess it would have all these, but maybe not the lost and wins, but reach GPS condition. It'd be nice to have a neutral tab in between the two of these, just with, so you could set things like this. That way, if you wanted, you could just play videos for people who reach certain things, or, have that person load into a different world. Who knows? All sorts of other stuff could be noted. Well, not noted, added in there. What else do we got? Well, I'm going to tab to here. We're going to go over to the actual update page. And what do we have here? Well, we have some new stuff. I'm actually going to zoom in here a little bit. And first off, I'm going to read a developer note because the devs seem to be getting a little bit grumpy at everyone, getting a little bit grumpy at them. They really do believe in the scenario stuff, and you can see that it's going to add a huge amount of power. So I'm just going to read out what they got here. Developer note. We thought it useful to give you a bit more information regarding the importance of the scenario editor, since we've noticed that many players are not happy with the additions that have been made lately. As we have already mentioned in a recent blog post, part of our development plan is to add missions into the game. The purpose of the scenario editor is exactly this: to provide all necessary tools to our level designers to create various missions that will be implemented in the vanilla game. If the scenario editor didn't exist, then we would require occupying programmers for doing this. But now, with the help of the scenario editor, our level designers can easily work on designing missions without the help of any other person in the studio, and programmers will have the time to work on other planned features. More dev notes will follow shortly regarding planets and other development plans. Stay tuned. So you can see right there, they're getting a bit disheartened at people being, hey, why are you adding this nonsensical stuff? I myself, I frankly don't like the idea of a very locked-in driven story by the devs when it comes to a sandbox game, but as I made clear earlier, I do believe that these tools are a very powerful thing for the people who do want to tell a story to go ahead and put one in there. And if the devs want to tell a story, in the end it is their game, so let them tell a story. Mind you, they're giving us the tools as well, so as I said, you can make one. Should also be noted that this update came with a lot of nice little fixes right here, and you can go ahead and see that they did a bunch of little fixes. I say little. Some of these are pretty nice, and they've also added some more stuff from the community down there to allow allow you, from the looks of it, to be able to make a teleportation thing that'll take you between different multiplayer servers. So that's pretty awesome. You can see some modders setting up, I don't know, Stargate mods to go between servers even, or something as silly as that. All pretty cool stuff. Might not be the most flashy of updates, but it's a decent update nonetheless, and planets are coming. I'd rather them take their time, frankly, and delay planets for another month and a half than release them and them not be up to snuff. Especially because I think a lot of people are going to want to settle down on a planet real quick, and if they find that an update comes out in a week or two, and suddenly that planet they were pretty comfortable on is obsolete, and now they find out that they need to restart the world, they might be a little bit uppity and disappointed. Who knows? And I guess that's it for this update pretty much. One last thing I should point out though with the medical things, so let's go ahead and get our med things in here. Something I believe I mentioned in passing. There we go. Medical! You can of course assign these ownership to AI, so if we create a new AI and we add it to that, wait, no, hold on, there we go, add it to that, you want to change the ownership, yes. But now you can see access is denied to this thing. This is a bit of an issue. Well, following the scenario update, we can also go ahead and add AI to factions now. So we can do a create new faction, AI faction. I can't, there's only 3 things. So AI faction, we'll just go with that. And we can go ahead, and of course we're in it. At the very bottom there, you can see we have the add NPC, so we can create a new NPC. And of course the AI underscore is just because it's the faction name. And now we can actually leave this faction. Oh dear. Well, of course in the past if you left a faction it would go empty. Well, now you can go ahead and just rejoin the same faction. It'll automatically accept you in, even though except everyone wasn't turned on, because the only member in there was an NPC, and it'll set you back to leader. Now this can be useful for, as I mentioned earlier, the idea of setting up group-based objective games. So now we can go ahead and have AI faction, or AI underscore, and we can have it owned by that AI dude we created, so this one will be owned by him. Still shows dead, a little eerie that. We can come over here, and if the game doesn't freeze out and crash, okay, come on. Yes, I know. Yes, what the heck? Okay, there we go. And we can go ahead and do factions, create a new faction as soon as we leave this one. So yes, we want to leave that faction, create, and we'll do AI 2 as our new faction. Of course, we actually have to have a proper name here, don't we? There we go. And we can go ahead and create another NPC for this one. And go ahead and set the ownership of this thing here to be owned by that brand new guy we made. So we can see AI2 indicating that second faction. There we go. You can also go ahead and click this little checkbox right here, assign player to faction, which means if somebody spawns at this one, they will instantly join the faction that this is owned by. And of course we need to go back here and set this one to the same. Of course we're going to go ahead and leave the current faction we are in and join that first one again, just so we can access this machine here and edit it. And there we go, click that block. There we go. So now if somebody spawns at that one, they'll be in the first faction we created, I believe. And if they join in that one, they'll be in the second faction we created. And of course, we'll delete that respawn over there. And so now what we can do is winning condition. We'll just set up a simple winning condition just to demonstrate everything I've shown in this video. New from current position. You win. And of course, current position, copy to clipboard. We're going to do a U, we're going to do a win condition, so reach GPS coordinates. Going to go ahead and type in paste, and we're going to do radius simply down to, let's say, 10. So we'll have to get quite close to where we are. And no video, sure, we'll do a video at the start. To demonstrate, we'll just grab, let's say, well, this ancient video right here, paste that in there. And then video at the end, if you win, can be this little joint survival random nonsense video here. And the next mission, we'll just go ahead and load up. I think we can even load up pretty much any world we like, long as it is, well, it probably needs to be scenario, actually, now I think of it. So we could have it set up to this random scenario right here. And to demonstrate that everything works, I'm going to type that in there. Awesome. You win. Prepare for teleport. Did I spell prepare correctly? I did. And so let's go ahead, click OK on that. Lost condition. All others lost, so you lose. That's a bit odd. Limited lives. We'll just go ahead and have a limited life. We won't bother setting any of that up. Lost. There we are. Just so we have it. And of course, we'll click refresh to save all of that. And strangely enough, it instantly loaded that up as if we had completed everything. Oh dearie dear. And let's go ahead and click U, do a refresh to reset all that. Awesome. Looks like our scenario is set up. Let's go ahead and save and exit this. Go to our dinky little scenario button, new scenario. There we go. Go ahead through 1,000,001 different things here until we find scenario update. You can see a lot of these I accidentally had it turned on for. A bit silly. Of course, we didn't really enter a description, but either way, we can go ahead and click OK. And right away, because we've loaded up the world, it loads up that ancient video of mine. And of course, we can close this out now. And you can see here it's telling me, hey, you have to spawn at one of these. I should have disabled respawning at other places, so it would be locked into either of these two. But you can see it's telling us to spawn at either of those. We respawn at that. And now if we go ahead and press K, we go to factions, you can see we are indeed in a faction. And if we try to access this, it should say access denied. Yep. And of course we can go up here and fly to that finishing point. There we go. Wonderful.
Well, ideally the connector could be also inside the hangar.
So, yep. Silly little video, and preparing for next scenario. There we go, and it worked. Awesome. So there you go. That's this update. Confused? Hope not. I went over everything. Maybe not in the most logical fashion ever, but I did just set up a little mini scenario all on camera. Well, that's it for this update, guys. Hope you found this video informative and somewhat entertaining. And, yeah, I'll see you next time. Ta-ta.